All of us.
We won't stop.
What that mean? Boo.
The tops we grow now. We
All
won't
of us.
stop. We won't stop.
Wait a minute, I got to talk to that.
The tops we grow now. We won't stop. Now we won't stop. The tops we grow now. We won't stop. We won't stop. The tops we grow now. We won't stop.
What's up, you guys? We are back with AK Talk, and I'm going to hand it over to Cassie, who will continue to talk and ask us questions on what it's like to be mixed.
All right, ladies. Thank you for sticking around. Hopefully we can rev it back up again. Got a little steamy, so let's keep that steam alive.
We're ready.
All of you have beautiful hair.
Thank you.
Absolutely beautiful. And there's different varieties and versions and styles. My question for you is that many of you raise your hands about people touching your hair and asking to touch your hair. And you got that good hair. Can you go into that a little bit? Any of you go into that of how it made you feel for them to touch ask you, can I touch your hair because you have good hair? Or, wow, your hair is so different than mine. I wish I had that. I wish I could do what you do. Kind of give us a little insight into that.
Well, I guess I'll just start. Like, for me, like, growing up, it didn't really bother me so much. Like, I grew up in Palmer, so the white moms went crazy over, like, my hair and skin. Like, they always wanted to, like, play in it and touch it, and, oh my god, your complexion is so beautiful, you know. When moving to Anchorage, pretty much there were so many mixed people that I knew. I didn't really feel like I wasn't special no longer. I hate to use that word, but there was like so many people who looked like me. I mean, Anchorage is full, you know, mixed with diversity, so it was never like really that big of a deal. And I went to school with so many, like, you know, black, light-skinned girls, dark-skinned girls, mixed girls, and at that time, I think, like, you know, the relaxed hair was really popular, so it was kind of like whose hair was the longest, you know, no matter, like, kind of what you were. So as I got older, that term good hair just kind of, like, really started bothering me, and it was mostly because, like, a lot of the guys I dated were, like, dark-skinned, and I was close with a lot of, like, really dark-skinned girls, and I would hear what they would have to say. Like, oh my god, I love your hair so much. I wish I had good hair. And that's kind of, I think, what bothered me was from, like, why are we doing this so much in the black community? Not so much of, like, the outsider, but what are we doing with inside our own race? And we had to, like, fix it there because it was, like, that's one term I really, really try not to use because I have a daughter that looks like her, and then I have another daughter who's, like, chocolate. And her hair is, like, silky curly, not kinky. So even people will come up to her and say, oh my god, you're dark skinned with that good hair. And it's just those comments just kind of, like, bother me, I guess. So I just try not to. As I started getting locks a lot, or, like, if I had my hair, like, in a fro, if I had my hair, like, in twist, I would get a lot more people coming up to me asking me to touch it and play in it versus, like, if it was just straight and relaxed. So that to me started kind of, like, bothering me because it was like, what is this, like, fixation with different hair? Like, when it's relaxed, you know, you could care less. But if it's, like, curly, braided, twisted, that's when you want to touch it. So I think that's what kind of started bothering me the most.
So I believe in good and bad juju. I don't know if it's a southern thing or what, but when someone you don't know come up want to touch your hair, this is kind of like a bad vibe, and it's just
Don't touch
I
me.
don't like that. And
It's like someone trying to fill your pregnant belly.
yeah, it's kind of, it can be offensive just because, I mean, it makes it feel like you're like this weird attraction, like, oh, let me touch your hair. When we go places, they do that. So it's a lot of white women that do it, bone straight, blonde hair, and it's, you know, we could be at a bar and they're like, let me touch your hair, and I'm like, don't touch my hair. So it's just a.
That's what I find too. Like when it's like dreaded or twisted, it's like, oh my god, let me. Oh, your hair is so great. Let me touch it. It's like, don't touch me. Like,
But black women, period, don't like their hair being touched. No matter what color. I mean, what like, how light or dark skin. I mean, we just. I don't know. You just don't touch our hair. In my opinion.
I think it's disrespectful. I don't relate to it because I don't have that tight curl pattern, you know. But I mean, even so, with my kids, they're like, they have that good curly hair. I love their hair, especially my middle child, because he has the bright blonde hair, and he's the same amount as black as all my other kids, but he looks white. But he's got that bright blonde hair with curl with the tight curls. And I think it's even disrespectful to ask to touch my children's hair. But I just think it's disrespectful. It makes it like a petting zoo.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I relate it to.
Yeah. So, since I got the biggest hair here, you know, first of all, growing up, see, I have a different experience than you.
Than me.
I didn't have a lot of mixed friends that I grew up with, and then a school that I went to was predominantly white. So for me, I didn't know how to do my hair. My mom didn't know how to do my hair. The products that were out there was either grease or they weren't heavy enough for my hair. So it was a challenge to learn how to do that myself. But once I got older, I had a lot of that, you know, can I touch your hair? And I had this, and I don't normally get it from, you know, black people or anything like that. It's almost always white women that do that. And I was at work one time, and this older white lady, she just came really like close with me, and she had asked, she was like, can I touch your hair? And I mean, we were cool, so I was like, okay. And then when she touched it, she was like, it's so soft. Like she had an expectation of what she thought black hair was supposed to feel like, or what it did feel like, and it was different, you know. And so that just kind of was like an eye-opener that, like you were saying about assuming what people are, you know, they were doing, or my experience is that she was doing the same thing, and I find it disrespectful too. You know what I mean? We don't go around asking white people, can we touch their hair? Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying that, like, y'all can edit that out if you need to, but I'm just saying, you know, I don't know what the attraction is, but I think it's because it's not white, blonde, straight, you know, because we do different things with our hair, because we do have different styles. And, you know, even though my hair is different than your hair, it's different than white people's hair. And I think that might be the attraction, but I still don't like the fact that people ask.
I even had a white guy ask me, I wanted to smack him, and I'm so embarrassed for him, but he asked me, why doesn't black woman's hair grow? He goes, I know so many black women who don't have hair. And that's exactly what I said. Steven, don't ever repeat that to anybody other than me. I'm like, anything will grow if you take care of it. If somebody's hair is not growing, it's because it's lacking nutrition. I can show you tons of pictures of black women from Africa who have hair down in their butts. So whatever like conceived ideas you have in your head, just get them out. But it is weird. They do have this fixation or like idea of what they feel black hair is, and I don't know why it makes them so excited. I don't know. And I'm saying, you know, we're all half white, so it's not like we're like, oh, you white people. It's just, I don't go around asking other black, let me touch your hair. Oh my god, you know what I mean? So that's just kind of weird to me.
I don't understand the whole good hair thing, because, like, what is bad hair then?
Hair that's not nourished.
From my yeah,
Well,
yeah,
but
that's
I mean,
my
does that
my
make
experience.
nappy hair bad? You
It's
know?
just not as easy to
And
do.
that's the thing too,
Yeah.
is we need to stop saying good hair, bad hair, because that was another thing. Like, your hair is so hard to manage, and it's not that our hair is so hard to manage. We just need to learn how to manage it.
Right.
And
There
it
are a
goes
million
into
products
products.
out there
Yeah.
that will fit
Now.
your hair.
Yeah.
And that's the
But
thing.
back then,
like,
all it
what
was
works
water,
for me isn't going to work for me, and
conditioner,
what works for her isn't
grease.
going to. Yeah, totally.
Then I feel like it goes into like the wigs, because I was talking with someone like a couple days ago, and they're like, well, I feel like if a black person wears a wig, it's because they're ashamed of being black,
No.
No.
and that's
We're
not.
just like,
It's
change.
not that. It's just like
Yeah.
black hair is harder to keep up with. Sometimes you don't feel like doing your hair that day, so you just slap a hair hat on and
Yeah.
then call it.
And
good.
I think that's also a great thing about being a woman. No matter what color you are, we have so many options.
Yeah.
I know white women who want to get their hair braided and to wear froze. And I've had several of my white friends ask me like, "Is it okay to get my hair braided?" And I'm like, live your life. I mean, as long as you know what you're doing and you're not trying to reinvent it and you're like being respectful of it, I don't see, it doesn't bother me that a white woman wants to braid her hair. Just respect what that hairstyle is. Don't try to call it Bo Derek braids or, you know, oh, these new twists, but they're Bantu knots, you know, like that sort of thing. Like, respect it.
Call it
Well,
what it
you
is.
gotta
Yeah.
respect the Bo Derek braids, though.
I
You do have to
do like
respect
Bo
the
Derek
Bo
braids.
Derek braids.
I do like her braids.
But I do
But you
understand
get
where
what
you're
I'm
coming
saying.
from. Yeah.
Exactly.
But you know, I think when you got people like Kylie Jenner who think that
Totally.
they're the first person to wear a wig or first white girl to wear a wig, that's false. Period.
Yeah.
But today, anybody can wear a wig. White, black, Asian, it doesn't matter. And it's not your grandma's wig. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a wig. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, wear it.
And they be doing all
Have
kinds of
people
stuff
ever
with
asked
wigs.
you, or like any of you guys, if your hair's a wig?
Yeah.
Oh,
If my hair is straight, I get
Girl,
asked that all
are you
the
wearing
time.
weave?
Mhm.
What type of weave's in your hair?
Or the
I'm like,
shrinkage. That's a big thing. The
real.
shrinkage.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Shrinkage
your
is a
hair's-
big thing in my home.
Yeah.
It's real.
Yes.
It's real.
That's my daughter. My daughter Sabea. Her hair is curly, and she doesn't have kinky hair. It's like silky curly, but it's still short. But when we blow dry it out, it's like past her. It's like halfway down her back. So shrinkage is definitely real, and a lot of people don't understand that.
And Mom, I love you to death if you're watching this, but my mom, she, you know, even though she's German, in America, blue eyes, blonde hair, she's white.
Mhm.
So, you know, she did not know how to do our hair. And it's just
You too.
important when you have biracial
Mixed
kids
kids.
to learn
Absolutely.
how to tame that, because I was bullied so bad already for the freckles and the bony knees, but the hair, she'd brush
On
those
top of
curls out and make a big old fuzzy afro
and then she would
ponytail.
tell you, I just love it. It's just
Yes,
so
and just
pretty."
poof it more, and I'm
Yeah,
like,
I know.
then my dad, who's black, would get a hot comb, burn my forehead, but
Oh,
he would
yes.
try his hard. So I'm big on teaching my kids how to take care of their hair, because they all got different types of styles, like curl pattern, because it's a lot to take care of biracial hair. It really is.
It's very true. That's very true. But like you said, many of you said, it's not that you can't manage your hair. It's not that you can't do your hair. You just have to find either the right products, the right instruction, the
Or
right
your style, you
Mhm.
know?
And it's
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The time.
Well, ladies, we're gonna take another break.
All of
Because
us.
it's just too
Hold it
soon.
down, bro.
We'll be right back.
The tops we grow.
All of us. Fuck it. Wait, man, I got to talk to I what are you talking about?
Look at the shoe game. Look at the shoe game.
That's in one piece.
Wait. I got
Don't disrespect
All
the
of us.
Italian leather.
Hey, don't
Yeah.
disrespect the drip, son. Hey, we came to support our homie Don Pelly. You know, Form 5, the movement. Star Boy out here, we got Flip behind the scenes. We got Flip behind the camera. We got to turn.